Rev up your engines!
Flim Flam says, if we evolved from apes, why are apes still apes? Well, you need a little science for that. We did not evolve from apes. Apes and us have a common ancestor way back when, millions and millions of years ago. Just like, you got to believe in science on this stuff. Our DNA is something like 50% the same as a flower, as a dandelion flower. Now, what are the odds, And flowers are still flowers and we're still people. And the fact that our DNA is like 99% the same as a chimpanzee kind of tells you that we're pretty closely related to them, You have to be logical with these things. What people believe or they don't believe, you got to look at the science of DNA, and that makes total sense, Back to cars. Murcielago Batman says, Scotty, what do you think about the Kia Soul? I'm thinking about buying one. Okay, I'm not a Kia fan, but they're much better made than they used to be. They used to be really junky little cars. They were horrible. They rode crummy and they fell apart. Now, they're decent cars that you can buy a brand new one and usually drive at 100,000 miles with very little trouble at all. As for the Soul itself, I think they're the weirdest looking things on the planet. I wouldn't be seen dead driving one. But if you like the way they look and you want that kind of car, but on the other hand, if you want a boxy car that's going to last a lot longer, go get a Honda Element. It's twice the car of the Kia. It's a much better made car. But if you don't mind the Kia Soul, the way it looks and the price that it costs, because they are cheaper, you can go ahead and get one. Just don't think that it's going to run like a Toyota or a Honda and go 300,000-400,000 miles, For the first 100,000, they're usually pretty trouble-free. Geraldo says, I'm thinking of switching motor off from 10W40 to 5W30, my 8-year-old Toyota. Will that do damage to my motor? Okay. If you've been using the same oil for years, stick to it. The engine's used to it. You start changing it over the years. I've had many customers, and contrary to what engineers say, it can do damage. A lot of customers could say, oh, I like the new synthetic oil, and they switch from a conventional oil to a synthetic oil. Then they find out they're either leaking oil or they start burning oil, and they weren't in the first place. If you have no problem, stick to what you are using, and it's always best to use whatever's suggested on the engine because the engineers designed it for a reason. They're not just randomly saying, okay, let's use this weight oil because we like it. There's engineering reasons behind that stuff, and they know a bit more than you do about oil, so it's best to stick to what's in it. Castellan says, my great honor to ask you a question, Scotty. A 09 Corolla has 200,000 miles. It hesitates, but only during the day. Could it be a bad math? Has a new fuel pump, but still does it. Thanks. That's a weird one. You mean it only hesitates in the day, but it doesn't at night? That's odd as can be. If that is the truth, and it only hesitates in the day but not at night, the only difference is you turn on the headlights. And if you turn on the headlights and it stops doing it, you've got some kind of really funky electrical problem with the car. Have the alternator load tested, the battery load tested. I'd definitely do that if that was the case. But if you mean only first time you start it up in the morning, yeah, clean the MAF sensor. If that doesn't fix it, replace it. They don't cost all that much on those cars nowadays, and they do get dirty, and they do wear out over time. Chad Erickson said, should I change oil by the mileage on the sticker or by time? Well, it depends what they write on the sticker and what kind of oil you're using. I personally change all my oil in my cars every 3,000 to 5,000 miles because I don't drive much. So you either change it a lot, like I do. I use regular oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles or once a year. And normally I don't put the 5,000 miles, so I just change the oil once a year. And that's that. Now, if you're going to use a fully synthetic oil, they get some kinds of lies like that Mobil 1 change it every 20,000 miles, bunch of nonsense. But you could push it to 8,000 to 10,000 miles with full synthetic oil. But since you're going to pay twice as much for the oil, my idea is, hey, use regular oil and change it more frequently. Dirt gets in any of the oils, and if you're going to change it, it's all new, and it's going to cost you the same price. The heck, use regular oil, change it twice as often. Matt's Computers. Scotty, I have a question. My cousin has a 2004 Volkswagen Beetle with automatic transmission. Transmission is locked up in third gear. Do you know what could be the problem? Well, the problem is it's a Volkswagen Beetle with an automatic transmission. That was one of the worst transmissions they ever made. They're just horrible, absolutely horrible things. They're totally over-engineered. I've had customers over the years with those that they needed the transmissions replaced. I told them how much it's going to be. Most of them said, I'll get rid of the car. But one customer, they wanted it fixed. I sent them to a transmission expert that I knew, and he fixed it, and it cost them like $5,800, and this was 10 years ago. They're just horribly made automatic transmissions. Now, what the heck? You have it, you might as well take a chance. Try to find a guy like me that'll have a scan tool that can hook it up and check it out. And you want to pray. Maybe something like a solenoid broke and stuck on the third gear. I doubt it. But at least try, because if you got to have that thing rebuilt, it's more value than a stupid car, so I would just get rid of the thing.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.